go into details, I take this opportunity to thank the Health Committee for starting a good job, and we are all waiting for your final report to come up with solutions. I thank you very much for giving me the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Bakau. Honorable Member for Opanyomi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, let me first of all thank the Honorable Minority Leader for presenting this important motion before this August Assembly. And I first of all want to extend my condolences and sympathy to the affected families and the entire Gambia at large. It's really disheartening and very unfortunate that this acute kidney injury has caused the death of at least 70 children in this country. Very, very unfortunate. Honorable Speaker, I also have to applaud the Minister of Health for their timely detection of this particular acute kidney injury.
Observation?
Honorable Member, I think you have to wait for your time. Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I will applaud the Minister of Health for their timely detection and their timely intervention, and even up to an extent of suspending this particular pharmacy and recalling all the medicines that are deemed contaminated. That's a risk which the ministry took. Just in their preliminary findings, they have to take this giant step in order to save the children of this country. But fortunately for us, the other secondary findings made their suspicion right. We have to thank them for that. Honorable Speaker, I also have to applaud my own committee, that's the Select Committee on Health, for our timely response to this particular problem. Because we took it upon ourselves even before being assigned by this August Assembly to engage the concerned authorities, and the preliminary evidence has been gathered, and we don't want to preempt what we have gathered. The report will be presented as being stipulated by the motion. Honorable Speaker, with these few remarks, I thank you once again for giving me the opportunity to throw a few words on this particular motion. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Opanyomi. I now invite the Honorable Member for Kombo East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I must first submit my deepest condolences to your office, to the families of the victims of these 70 children that lost their lives due to this AKI. And we pray to Allah, may the trend stop in here and that they rest in eternal peace. And I extend my condolences to the entire people of the Gambia, and that I urge every member of this country to stay fast, and then we work onto a solution to remedy this situation that we are upon. Yes, it is very right. It is very right that we had this motion before us today, and I commend the minority leader for tabling it out before the National Assembly. I only want to suggest that having considered the following points under number 7, 8. As it reads here, noting the medicine safety alert and directives issued by the Ministry of Health relating to all contaminated, substandard and falsified medical products sourced from Median pharmacists in India. Upon these findings, these are laudable efforts. We should commend the Ministry of Health for taking up this giant step and getting out boldly to be doing that. But also under the concerns that under number 8, there is a concern that some quantity of alleged contaminated drugs are still unaccounted for or recalled. This is also a point of concern that we need to work on. I'm also suggesting that let it not only be limited to the Health Committee to work on, let it, the National Assembly select committee to take up this thing should have a joint committee where members of the Defense and Security and members of the Gender Committee to be involved so that serious steps could be taken and then the necessary be made so that we come to a conclusion as on time to take a hold to this. I thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Combo East. Honorable members, let me acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Minister of Works in the chambers. And I understand the Honorable Minister of Fisheries and Water Resources is also present. You are most welcome. I now call upon the Honorable Member for Nyanija. Honorable Member for Kiang East.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would like to begin by registering my heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families of over 70 Gambian children who lost their lives to acute kidney disease, AKI. I humbly ask Allah to give the bereaved families the fortitude to bear the loss, and I equally humbly ask Allah to restore unto these families children that would be not only the comfort of these families, but also the comfort of the eyes of all Gambians. Honorable Speaker, this is a very solemn occasion. The entire nation is mourning, and we mourn with the bereaved families of these children. What happened is unfortunate, is regrettable. It shouldn't have happened in the first place. We know since it has happened, it has exposed a major flaw or major flaws in the healthcare delivery system. Of course, we understand that as soon as it was discovered, the Ministry of Health responded quickly, taking measures to try to control the situation. However, it is evident that our health system is rigged with corruption, negligence, lack of political will to improve the healthcare delivery system. That is the basic fact about it. I don't think we can question that. Well, anyway, having said that, Honorable Speaker, when we look at the report, I want to add that instead of just allowing the health committee to, since the National Assembly finding solutions to problems, we assign this role to a special select committee like we did before. I think we do that instead of course, we know that already the health committee has started working on it, but I think for me, it should have been delegated to a special select committee, and I want to urge the National Assembly or this plenary to do that. And I want to take you back to, refer you to the terms of references of the committee that is taking up this responsibility, that it has been said that these medicines, the syrups that are said to be responsible for this acute kidneys was manufactured mainly for the Gambia. I want the health committee to also investigate into the reason why it is manufactured just for the Gambia and nowhere else in the world. I think we can add that to the terms of reference. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Kiang East. I now invite the Honorable Member for Nyamina West.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I shall also rise to join my colleagues on supporting and blessing this motion on the table. First of all, I would also like to sympathize and my sincere condolence to the affected family. And in this case, we are all affected, as Gambia is one nation, one family. So my sympathy to the dead children. I also want to acknowledge the support, the giant support made by the government through the Ministry of Health. Honorable Speaker, if you may allow me, point 5 of the motion, acknowledging the efforts of the government and in particular the Ministry of Health since the outbreak, notifying WHO as well as requested for an investigation into the matter. This is a giant step from the ministry, and every one of us here could bear witness it was an alarm at the right time, an alarm to the WHO. And also, I have to acknowledge the laudable support or the good job done by the Select Committee on Health in the Parliament here. Since the outbreak, they have been conducting series of meetings and they did not relent. So therefore, I have to reiterate my support for the motion in giving them the chance to come out with a report to this noble assembly so as to come out with their terms of reference, especially reference A, that says you are tasked with to come out with the root cause of the reported death of at least 7 children. I am very much particular about this since 70 children, that is A, the root cause of the reported death of at least 70 children. This is very important. So therefore, we wait for the report from the Select Committee of Health to tell us the root cause of the death of these 7 children, and at that time it will allow us to debate better. At this juncture, I also want to acknowledge and recognize the hard work done by the two leaders of the House, that is the majority and the minority, and I thank the minority for tabling this motion. At this juncture, I beg to take my seat, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Nyamina West. I now invite the Honorable Member for Upper Fuladu West.
Thank you very so much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to have my say as far as this particular issue is concerned. Honorable Speaker, members of Parliament, ministers present, media, dignitaries, security personnel, dignitaries present, ladies and gentlemen, I feel very honored and privileged to stand before this August Assembly to express my heartfelt condolences and sympathy to the families and victims of this tragic incident. It has been a trying time and a difficult moment for Ministry of Health and the government by extension and the entire people of the Gambia. The deaths of these 70 children are unfortunate and untimely. We all felt it as a nation. And we pray for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant them Jannat. Mr. Honorable Speaker, we have to thank the Ministry of Health for early detection of this acute kidney injury. I think these are some of the achievements registered by the Ministry of Health since the outbreak happened in this country. And then also the case was reported to WHO for assistance as well as requesting for investigation. This came through Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Health have also suspended and recalled the alleged contaminated substandards and falsified medicinal products sourced from Median Pharmaceutical in India. MCA, Medical Control Agency, have instructed all healthcare workers in the country to stop prescribing, dispensing, and use of all batches of the alleged contaminated drugs.
Honorable Member, observation.
So I think these are all giant steps taken by the Ministry of Health and the MCA. The license of the importers has been suspended. The two pharmacy outlets of the importers have been closed. I think these are all achievements as far as the ministry is concerned. And then police have started investigation, which is not concluded. And then also the Indian government was also contacted as far as this issue is concerned. As we speak, there is no scientific confirmation as far as this issue is concerned. Honorable Speaker, noting the medicine safety alert and directive issued by the Ministry of Health relating to all contaminated, substandard, and falsified products sourced from Median Pharmaceutical in India. Well, I think these are achievements registered by the Ministry of Health as far as this issue is concerned. But there is a concern raised on the motion. Number 8, the concern that some quantity of alleged contaminated drugs are still unaccounted for or recalled. I want to inform this August Assembly that over 350 Red Cross volunteers and health personnel have been dispatched to provincial Gambia, that is rural Gambia, to go house to house to see whether still these drugs are in circulation. So I think this is a great achievement by the Ministry of Health. Mr. Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, I would like us to refer the issue at hand to the Health Committee to do their findings and report back to the Parliament. So I thank each and every one of you, the minority leader, for tabling this motion before this important assembly. So I thank you all for your kindness and thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Upper Fuladu West. I now invite the Honorable Member for Sami.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I also want to seize this opportunity to say big sorry to the families who lost their children. May their soul rest in perfect peace. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the minority leader, Honorable Alaj Estabo, and the Honorable Member for Brikama South, and all the Honorable members who append their signature to see that this thing is possible. Because it's a national issue. This is a national issue, Honorable Speaker. This is what we should recognize. It's not anybody's show. It's a national issue. When it happens, we all have to embrace it. It is a national issue. Honorable Speaker, the issue that we are talking about is about this AKI, acute kidney injury. Honorable Speaker, when we look at the report, we are told that it is caused by a paracetamol syrup. And in the report, it is from where? It is from India. It is stated in the report, it is from India. Honorable Speaker, we don't have much to say. Hence, we say we are going to give it to the Health Committee. But what I'm going to tell the Health Committee is that you have a great task. You have a great task to do. We are saying that 70 children lost their lives. We don't know whether that is fact or not. You must reach to every community. You have a great task, Honorable Speaker. You must reach to every communities. Don't just get up here and go and stop at another place and you don't reach to other communities. Anywhere you go, these bottles are there. You must reach to every communities. Because at the end, these victims has to be compensated. They must be compensated, Honorable Speaker. And you must also conduct public hearing as a committee. So therefore, we are relying on you. We are relying on you. Whatever report you bring it for us, that's what we are going to digest. So thank you very much for giving me the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Sami. I now invite the Honorable Member for Fonyi Bintang Karanai.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Speaker. Deep down in my heart, I am crying because it's a very sad moment and a sad issue to discuss on. Nevertheless, we still have to be bold and express sincere condolence to the parents and to the nation at large, because the nation is mourning. In the same vein, the politicians also should mourn. In the same vein that we should feel what the parents are feeling. As I sit in these chambers, looking into the eye of the people that lost their children, is very sympathetic indeed. I definitely know how it feels when you lost your child. Very, very sad. And which child are you talking about? The child that could become the governor, the child that could become the minister, the child that could become the member of the parliament, that makes decisions for the nation. I believe as a nation we can do better, and I believe as a nation commitment should be in our DNAs to work in the best interest of the nation, to safeguard our people, to safeguard those young innocent children that died. And who will be next to die? Because we are still not safe as a nation. We must take the full responsibility as a ministry, especially the Ministry of Health. It's unacceptable, and this is unacceptable. And the investigation must be very independent in all the senses. The government is taking an investigation to the matter, but the National Assembly too cannot rely on the Health Committee alone. My suggestion is for us to set a special committee that will be neutral, that will be independent, that will not allow interference to overdrain it, to look into the matter seriously. Because these are sensitive issues that the nation cannot let go of. And in the process of exercising their duties, they must remember that the nation is crying, the nation is mourning, the women are crying, the family members are crying, the family members are in need of support, and in no way can we support for their lost ones, because some of the children that are gone, we have no mechanism of bringing them back to this world, which is very sad indeed. As most of you will want to restrict us time and again on what to debate, what to say, what to do, and what not to do, I'll always say this freely and independently, that this House must not over-restrict the members of the Parliament on what to say and what not to say. So long it affects the public, it affects us. So long it's public importance for all, and we should dilate on it the way we want to dilate on it, without begging for relationship or support in any way. So from now on, as we move out of this House, let us remember to control whatever enters into this country. Whatever our people are to consume, let's control it. Let people be responsible for their actions. But then, when we said we cannot blame anybody, you can blame somebody. Someone is responsible. So will we continue to consume these drugs that are going to continue to kill us or kill our children? It's unacceptable, and that will not be accepted. And we must do whatever it takes to put a stop into it. And for the special committee that may be set, or the health committee, special advice to you: remember, the Gambia is for all. Remember that you are here to save us. Remember that the nation is looking up to you. The nation have invested or will continue to invest in that committee that will be set to investigate on this matter. And remember that the fate of this nation lies in your hands. If you betray us, you betray yourself, and Allah will take you to account for whatever you do, because that's what Allah said in the Quran. He said, "Kullu man alayha fan," everything on the surface of the earth will perish. So remember that you are going to perish, and when you meet your Allah, Allah will question you for certain things. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Fonyi Bintang Karanai. Honorable Member, I want to believe that there are some honorable members of the Health Committee who love Gambia no less than you or any other person. To impute certain things into honorable members who have not even taken off or reported to us is preempting their work itself. And the two, we are not micromanaging any member. Let's get that very clear. All decisions are taken on the floor of the House. Two, Parliament is not an open-ended stream. What you like is what happens. Not at all. Parliament itself is regulated. Human beings ourselves, we are always under regulation.
Honorable Speaker.
Please. Please.
I want to observe you, Honorable Speaker.
You don't observe me, please. Honorable member for, is it Latikunda? Latikunda, I don't know what your problem is. Latikunda, please.
My problem
Latikunda,
is I want the
if you
rules
want to
be-
earn my respect once and for all.
Yes, because I want the
Honorable
rules to
member,
obey.
please, if you want to earn my respect, you will have to deserve it. This is my last chance for you. I am getting almost nearly above board. I'm telling you, I will not hesitate. No, I'm telling you, I'm giving you all your dues. So please, leave mine alone. Alone, please. You cannot be there and be here. I cannot be here and be there. Please. So those things we must get clear. Very clear. I now call upon the honorable member for Talinding Kunja.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Thank you very much, honorable colleagues. I would like to acknowledge the presence of honorable ministers here present. Let me join my colleagues in extending my sincere condolence to the bereaved families. They are going through a trying time. I recognize a couple from Talinding who came, who deemed it very important to come and witness. I will extend my sympathy to them and all the bereaved families, and pray that Allah give them the fortitude to bear the loss. This is indeed alarming. It could have been me, it could have been my child, it could have been anybody's child. It happens to be them, but then to restore, to show every Gambian that when calamities happen, when disasters stroke, government take action, institutions of government take actions to restore that confidence to the citizenry. You know, every Gambian is shocked, every Gambian is in doubt whether the drugs you are consuming are any longer safe for you. This is the situation we are in now. Not only the syrup, everybody is questioning any other medicine in the pharmacy. And then that is where we are now. So whatever the country takes now, whatever decision we take, whatever we implement, is going to make sanitize our health industry, our import and export or otherwise of drugs. So this is why it is important, as this august body sets up, empowers the health committee with timeline to look into this matter critically. We do our job judiciously and effectively to ensure that the outcome saves the country for prosperity in terms of this, because this crisis have exposed us, has exposed the vulnerability of the citizenry, the challenges, the gaps with regards to importation of good drugs and the quality of drugs we consume. So we hope that these the investigations, the consultations the committee is going to do, is going to help us to achieve that. Somebody said special committee. I would like to particularly object to special committees. I do not see why having health committee we want to duplicate efforts in certain special committees. What I would recommend is that we include the gender and children committee as well, because they also are affected, to be part of the health committee. If we do this, we do it. The life, like somebody mentioned, that have been lost, they have right to life. They could have been anything in the country. They could have grown up to become anything. And then, now that this has happened, what do we do as a country? And then the inquiry shouldn't be approached with the sense that already somebody is guilty already. We go in it with an open mind, that the partners we are meeting are also interested to safeguard the integrity of this country, to healthcare delivery of this country. We have to be mindful of that. When we approach issues of this, because I do know the people in the healthcare, their wish is not to lose life, is to save. I do know that. But sometimes gaps in institutions, gaps in our laws, implementations, funding, and everything concerning that weaknesses must be addressed holistically, not just finding scapegoats, not just finding who to blame, but then let's look at the issues holistically and address them for now and for future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Member for Talending Kunjang. I would have given you extra minute if you had wanted it. When I listen to you, sometimes I am moved and I am proud to be a member of the constituency you represent. Honorable Member for Stanley Mentoring.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I'll acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Ministers here present. First, Honorable Speaker, I'll extend my deep condolences and sympathy to the families and victims of this tragic incident, and to my own self as a mother. Also, thanks to the minority leader for tabling this before this August Assembly. Honorable Speaker, I'll also thank the Select Committee on Health for their intervention in finding facts to this cause of our own children. Honorable Speaker, noting that the government and health authorities going on investigation about the causes of this unfortunate death and the report allegation of the contaminated drugs. Honorable Speaker, I recommend the committee or the Select Committee on Health and Gender, Children and Social Welfare Committee to have a team or to set up a team that will do these investigations and report to disciplinary for an action. Honorable Speaker, it is also a concern that some quantity of alleged contaminated drugs are still unaccounted for or recalled. Yes, there is a team set out already to collect some paracetamol or whatsoever. Syrup has been given out or has been sold out by some pharmacies. I am sure there are still some medications which could be outside, which some parents might not be giving out because they might not know the cause or the effect attached to it. Honorable Speaker, I also recognize the power of the Assembly to establish committees with the general mandate to inquire into the activities and administration of ministries and departments of the government. Honorable Speaker, these children are our own children. These children could be presidents, they could be ministers, they could be ambassadors, they could be governors, they could be anything tomorrow. I think it is important for the Gender Committee, Children and Social Welfare, plus the Health Committee to join. In this Gender Committee that you have mothers. The Health Committee might have a mother, but there are mothers in the Gender Committee. So therefore, I recommend the Gender Committee to join with the Health Committee to make sure that they do the thorough investigation and report to the plenary. I bet to take my seat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Sani Mentoring. I now call upon the Honorable Member for Banjul North.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. To be honest, my heart is full, to be honest. But notwithstanding, I will observe the parents present here, the affected families present here, and also want to seize this important opportunity to extend my sincere condolence to all affected families and also the Gambia. for the loss of 66 plus children due to Aki. It is very unfortunate, Honorable Speaker, but notwithstanding, I believe the death of over 66 plus Gambian children and many more suffering from Aki, reported allegation of the contaminated syrups reflect a deep and widespread systemic issue confronting this country for a period now. And I believe it is important in that regards that there is need for the National Assembly, which we are actually doing now, to respond to this crisis with all the concern and urgency, which is indeed very important in areas critically and closely, so that as to determine why and how such a national strategy could have happened, which the Select Committee have already started engaging all the relevant stakeholders, which is indeed, I believe, is the right thing to do as a Select Committee.
Honorable Speaker, point of order.
We hear the point of order. Who is claiming the point? Open your mic.
Yes.
Your mic.
Yes, clause 28, clause 1. A member shall not read his or her speech, but he or she may read extract from the books or papers in support of his or her argument and may refresh his or her memory by reference. The member is reading from a text which he wrote on a paper.
Honorable member, are you reading?
Honorable Speaker, these are points that I put on a paper.
Member, are you reading?
I am not
the
reading.
text you have written?
I am not reading, Honorable Speaker.
All right.
Maybe he is not very comfortable with my presentation, but notwithstanding.
No, honorable member, I have to make a ruling.
Okay, go ahead.
It is in order that you should not read. You should not read from a text, written text. You can quote from these things or make reference to notes. So if you are reading, please stop reading. If you are not reading and you are making notes, you can continue, please.
Honorable Speaker, like I said, I am just going through the points that I've noted on my paper. But if he is not very comfortable, I think...
Honorable member, can you continue with your debate? Can you continue?
Okay, I believe that was a distraction, but notwithstanding, like I said, in the line of the issues that has been mentioned here as some of the members, I think it is very important for us to have an open parliamentary inquiry to investigate in this matter, which is indeed very important. Because looking at the situation, it is indeed a public health emergency. And in any serious nation, we cannot joke or play with health, understanding that it is very key as far as our nation is concerned. And wherever we see a healthy nation, that is when we can see better development. But notwithstanding also, as the mover of this motion have mentioned, some of the TORs that they are expecting as per the committee that will be responsible for the investigation. I will also want to recommend for the Assembly to consider us by at least putting up a very strategic communication mechanisms in place, so that in terms of whatever we're going to communicate to the public, more particularly with the relevant stakeholders, will be of essence, will be of use to the people. Because if we are to communicate to the people and they don't understand the language that we are speaking, that is already a problem. And like the saying goes, if a problem is not solved, it's still a problem. But when a problem is solved, it's no more a problem. And this is something that we must all consider and try by all means to make sure that it is of national interest. Let us see to it that as far as this current situation is concerned, we are all victims. And the most vulnerable are the children. And these children, we are the parents. So in that regard, I want to seize this opportunity to thank the minority leader for coming up with such a motion to see to it that a committee is being assigned to investigate to the bottom of this crime.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Banjul North. I now invite the Honorable Member for Banjul South.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. First of all, like my honorable colleagues, I would follow and extend my deepest sympathies to the families and to the Gambia at large, as this is a tragedy and calls for national mourning. Honorable Speaker, it is heartbreaking, not only as a mother, but I am a mother of 6 children. And I know that if my child would have been under 5 or under 7, one of them might have been one of the victims. So that is why this is so close to my heart. Honorable Speaker, I will not also be fair if I do not point out to the quick action taken by the Ministry of Justice, and that needs commendation. But I think that is where I will stop the comment, Honorable Speaker, because they were quick to pick on the problem and also to identify the issue and to exclude the medication, recall it from the public. And for that, we say thank you to the Honorable Minister for saving at least some lives, because it would have been more than 70. I'm not saying it's not more than 70 because we are not sure.
Honorable Member, I think you were talking about the Ministry for Health and not Justice.
The Ministry of Health.
Okay.
Yes. Honorable Speaker, this is a concern. It regards health, but it also regards children's welfare. Honorable Speaker, I would urge this August Assembly, when they look at the committee, that we should resolve for the Select Committee on Health to also include the Select Committee on Gender and the Committee in charge of Children's Welfare as permitted by Clause 107 of our standing orders to sit and work on this matter. In this particular clause, it says that where a matter may be of concern to 2 or more committees, the relevant committees may be dealt with on one of the relevant committees composing of it, or B, the relevant committee sitting concurrently. So I would urge this August House to convene the 2 select committees to work on these matters. Some of my honorable members, some of my honorable colleagues have already pointed on that, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we need to know that we have very good laws in this country. So I would not only point the blame to the executive or the ministry or the agency. I would also call this August Assembly to look at the laws that we make. The Act on medicines and related products also has a section that appoints quality control of medicines and related products, Honorable Speaker. And if you permit me, I will say what that says. It says that this is established by this Act. There is established by this Act the National Medicines Quality Control Laboratory that should work independent of the agency. The Act, as I said, also has an agency, and the agency has regulatory mandates that should have been done. If their work was properly done, this problem would not have been a problem in the first instance, because they have regulations that prevent bad products from entering this country. I think, Honorable Speaker, this committee that we have established today would have a great task, not only in terms of health issues, but also in terms of welfare issues. And on whose welfare, Honorable Chair, Honorable Speaker? The welfare of our children, we have recorded 70 children. Honorable Chair, what I'm saying, can I have 2 minutes, Honorable Chair?
1 minute.
Honorable Chair, what I'm saying is that the minority side of this parliament must be applauded.
No, put on your mic.
Honorable Speaker, the minority side I would applaud because the minority side made this sitting possible today. I was disappointed to see the majority leader raising his hand to second a motion that he was reluctant to sign, Honorable Chair. He refused to sign, to convene for a meeting to address this matter that affects our children, but yet he wanted to show the world that he seconded this motion. And Honorable Speaker, I am ashamed because this is not a call show. This is an interest to the nation. It is not for the public. We were duly elected to represent our people and to show our people that we care, not to act a joke, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Banjul South. I now call upon the Honorable Member for Latrikunda Sabiji.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. And I thank the Honorable Ministers who are also present here. First of all, I will start. I am very grief-stricken to the level that I don't even know how to express it. Added onto that, I am grief-stricken by way of the poisonous drugs that were imported into this country. My second disturbance is to see honorable members praising an institution we intend to investigate. Because for me, if you ask me, the ministry should rather prevent and put in mechanisms. I will not praise this or heap encomium on a ministry that fails to prevent and put in mechanisms to prevent this public health disaster. There could have been mechanisms in place, not early sign detection. Honorable Speaker, this nation mourns, this nation grieves, and this nation is effectively in a public health disaster. And I want the honorable members to be so emotionally attached to the 80-something kids that were killed by way of these poisonous drugs.
Observation, please. Honorable.
The pain of Aki.
Honorable, can I please observe?
I spoke to 2 mothers who were affected, whose children died by way of Aki. One of them told me, my child cries in pain, my child groans in pain, my child dies in pain, and my child was gasping for breath. That was very unfortunate. She said the child was a very intelligent child. I couldn't control my tears. Honorable Speaker, I will only applaud the minister. Minister is a surgeon. Several times you use your surgeon's knife, pierce bodies, cut bodies, to make sure people's lives are safe. You did that several times in this country, and you need a special commendation for that. But under this circumstance, Honorable Speaker, somebody must be held responsible. I am not saying the minister is responsible. I have already dilated how responsible the minister was as a medical practitioner, a surgeon for that matter, cure lives and saves a lot of lives. But under this circumstance, it is unfortunate that this happened under your watch, and somebody must take responsible even before this inquiry. And there are heads of institutions in this country, including Honorable Minister himself, Head of Pharmacy Council. Let somebody take this bold decision and take responsibility of this disease. Honorable Speaker, the first appearance of Aki was one. The first victim was one. We start as a nation, as a ministry, we start counting from 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 60 something, and we are still counting. And I will also urge
you see, that's where the discussion of the speaker comes in, and that's why, and that's why I will happily deny you. Honorable members, I had people saying observations when he was talking. They want to observe him on the statement he made, something like that. And I enjoyed that bit because this is what parliamentary debate is all about. People said 60, some said 70, he said 80. Somebody can come and say 100. This is where we find ourselves as an institution. And that's why we decided to regulate ourselves. Because nobody outside Parliament can regulate us. Nobody. We can say whatever we want to say, do whatever we want to do. So, but as matured, good citizens of this country, we said, now let's regulate ourselves. This trust is too much, we must also safeguard it. That's why we came out with our own regulations. And that's why when we make debates, we must base debates on substantive issues, a report or something that has been researched and brought to Parliament. Otherwise, he will say 100 people died. Somebody will say, no, it's 10 people. Another one will say, no, we have information that more people have died in UR are about 200. Which one are you going to take? That's why it is important that we get focused. And I'm happy that you deny the person to look into it, because he will have said, who told you it's 70, it's 80? You will equally ask him, who told you that it's 70? Or who said it's not 200? You know, these are things that we should appreciate as parliamentarians. I now invite the honorable member for Lower Badibu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I will first start my deliberation on sending my heartfelt or deepest condolence to the bereaved families, especially those at home on here present, as well as the entire Gambian population. Honorable Speaker, the topic before us is a very delicate issue, since it involves the lives of over 60 innocent Gambian children. Honorable Speaker, I would want the Gender Committee as well as the Health Committee to amalgamate, to join forces together in order to carry out this noble task. Honorable Speaker, like I would say, I don't have much to say. I will not preempt my stand on this issue until the time that the Health Committee carried out its mandate on the issue. Then there I'll be in a position to deliberate on this issue. I thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Lower Badibu. And I invite the Honorable Member for Bundunka Kunda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor to participate in this important issue that is before us here. Before I go further, I want to recognize the honorable ministers who are present with us here. And also on behalf of the people of Bundung, I want also to extend my sincere condolence to the bereaved families. At the same time, to also share the same pain that the families got. But this is a situation that we had. It's rather unfortunate. As a country, what we need at the moment is solution. And that solution can only be done through the parliament, through the health committee. And I feel and hope that the committee that is responsible, they will do their utmost best to give us a very good report. And whatever you are going to do, just do it with sincerity. Because this is not about you or me, but it's about Gambia. And this is about life and death. And I don't think we should joke with that. And also, this will be another step for all government institutions. Today is health ministry. For us to be able to open our eyes to make certain decisions that can, at least where we can prevent certain issues like this. So on that note, the health committee, the number of members that are there, for me personally, I have confidence in them, and I think they will be able to do it. Because so far so good, whatever we are doing here, we cannot, base our facts on, we cannot base our debate on facts, because there is no data. Because for me, I don't even want to mention the number. I know it has happened, yes, but the number, I cannot justify it. And when they do the investigation, that will allow us to know the numbers from different regions, and that will really help us. So now is a collective responsibility for all of us, though the committee will do their part. But as representative of our very Gambian people from different constituencies, what are we going to do to also, enhance our support to the fight? At least because I understand that there are so many syrup that are uncovered, and I think we all have to work together, especially with the Red Cross, to engage them at our community level, so that we can go on to at least go to pharmacies to get this thing together, if we really have the mandate from the ministry. So on that note, I just still want to appeal to the General Assembly to allow the health committee to do it, because we are all brothers here, and we must have to accept and appreciate each other's effort. So for that being the case, they are the one in the committee, let's allow them to do it. At the end of the day, they are doing not for them, but they are doing it for the Gambian people. And I think we are all here to represent one common interest. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Bundunka Kunda. I now invite the Honorable Member for Janjambure.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Speaker. I also want to join colleagues to pay my condolences to the bereaved families, and as well as their parents that are with us in chambers here and those that are not with us. To start with, I just want to reflect on the motion that is before us here today this morning. And I just want to look at on the motion number 4, taking note of the preliminary investigation by the police on the arrest of, on the deaths of at least 70 children from AKI in the Gambia. Honorable Speaker, I think as much as we ought to wait for possible investigations or for the police to wrap up with their investigations, I think there are clear evidence from the preliminary that the death of the 70 children are actually related to the AKI. And I think that's where arrests should start, with those that are responsible in the supply of these bad medications. Honorable Speaker, I also want us to look at point 6, which is suspending and recalling the alleged contaminated drugs in the Gambia, as well as raising alarm. I think the alleged pharmacy operators need to be closed down as soon as possible, because I don't think we can afford to wait for another tragedy. And if closed, I think that should be in the right direction, because it's what I'm hearing from some of the members. Also looking at the TOR, Honorable Speaker, I just want to join my fellow honorable members to say it will be important to have a joint select committee or special committee to look into this sensitive matter, for the simple reason that as much as it is health related, I think it involves children. And we have a whole select committee that is actually established to look into the welfare of children in this country. So it will be indeed very important to have them to be part of this committee. Also, I have actually had some of my members actually singing the Ministry of Health. And I think on this particular issue, we just need to do justice to the Gambian people. And in doing justice, I think we kind of rushing to upload the Ministry of Health, rather. And looking at how this information was broke out, I think it emerged from WHO before the Ministry of Health. And we would have expected for such information to be relayed by the Ministry of Health. And I think it have in fact went to an extent that the Ministry of Health were challenging the WHO as to the way and manner the information was broke out. Also, Honorable Speaker, on the TOR, I understand, yes, but also on the TOR, I think it will be also important for we to look at those that are renting out their licenses to, let's say, outsiders, in the pretext that they built a partnership. I think sometimes they kind of use words to confuse us in the way and manner they run their businesses. And it will be very much important to ensure that clarity is established on this particular issue, and also to understand that this moment is a moment that the Gambia as a nation is mourning. And seeing honorable members in these chambers without taking that decorum, because I'm seeing honorable members laughing, and we have the parents here with us in these chambers. And also, most importantly, I will add my voice on Honorable Njai's submission that the majority leader coming to second a motion, I don't think it's really fair. When he had
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Member for Janjambure. I think I remind myself of the wise words of the member for Talending. As we approach investigations, we open up. Let's not be preconceived, so that you get every information for you to make sound judgment. If we have yet to get a report and people are concluding that A and B has happened, I hope, however, it's going to be very subjective if we want to look at the report. We await the arrival of the report of the committee, which I am confident they will do a wonderful job, because they already have started. They were on it. I now invite the honorable member for Combo South.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I also want to join my colleagues to extend heartfelt condolences to the families and also to those who are still in hospital for a speedy recovery. Honorable Speaker, the Gambia is at crossroads. Wonders will never end in this country if people of this country do not want to take responsibility. We need to take responsibility for our deeds And we need to take responsibility for the roles that we play in our institutions. Until that is done, the truth will never come out. There is a lot of denial going on. And I think it is about time, as citizens of this country, we should be frank to each other. Honorable Speaker, I don't want to speak much because we have just come to a stage where our powers have been taken from us. And I am going to confront and I'm going to have dialogue with the chair of the Standing Order Committee to review this standing order. We cannot have our powers and leave it to a subcommittee to decide for us. This is a very important session, third extraordinary session of the 6th legislature. From April to now, this is the third extraordinary session. Things are coming up. So when you go to your ABC meetings, you need to look and gauge the importance of the issues that are going to be discussed. Don't limit us to 2 minutes. That's nothing. What is that going to tell us? This is our Bantaba. This is the place where we have to represent our people. Honorable Speaker, and this we need to move forward and forth to make sure that let's allow the members to say what they are going to say and allow them to speak their minds and to enable them to do their work correctly. So this is an issue that I'm going to take up with the committee, or the chair of the committee responsible of the standing order. They are meeting, and I think these are issues that we need to look into. Honorable Speaker, I think it is about time that we look at what we are going to do. And this, the Constitution is very clear. Section 109 of the Constitution is very clear. The Assembly can set up committees. We set up a committee when we had FPAC here, when we had COVID. So it does not limit, we did not limit it to FPAC. We set up a special committee to look at the issues. That's why the 734 million was released for COVID programs in this country. So we are going to, and I am suggesting that we set up a special committee that will include the health committee, children and women and social welfare, and another important committee that is defense. This has something to do with security, and we need to work out to do that, Honorable Speaker. So I am going to end up here, and then when we come to the nitty-gritties and the report when it is out, I will do my research. I have all my volumes here, and we are going to do it. But the National Health Pharmacy Control Agency, the National MCA, the Ministry and the Pharmacy Council should take responsibility, Honorable Speaker. I beg to move. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Combo South. I now invite the Honorable Deputy Speaker and nominated member, Honorable Sidi Eskenjai.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also want to join members to extend my condolence to the bereaved families, the untimely death of 70 children, as we are told, who died as a result of AKI. I want to pray that Allah the Almighty grant the families the fortitude to bear the loss. Honorable Speaker, I want to commend the National Assembly for this motion and the minority leader for tabling this very important motion. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that from the beginning, the majority leader and member for Kantora was never presented with this motion to sign. Rather, it was a paper for him to sign to call for this extraordinary session. And this very important motion was finalized yesterday by the Office of the Speaker, the Office of the two leaders, and the Office of the Clerk. That need to be, and they work tirelessly to get us this factual and important document. Honorable Speaker, this motion seeks to recognize the work and the effort of the Ministry of Health and our health officials, our men and women and boys and girls in all our health facilities in this country, and we must recognize that. It could have been a catastrophe and a disaster for this country and the world at large. hadn't been this very important and patriotic citizen of this country in the health sectors. They raised the alarm, and the Ministry of Health and the authorities at the health facilities decided to conduct immediately clinical and data assessment and tests to find out the unusual AKI in young people. And it's as a result, the Ministry of Health and the government immediately suspended the usage, as they suspected as a result of clinical and data results, the use of paracetamol syrup and other drugs. And we are all aware, the people in this country politicized it, and they were vilified, they were insulted, they were condemned. But when a preliminary investigation suggesting that the Ministry of Health and health personnel actions was indeed right, it could have been honorable for them to come back and apologize and recognize this effort as indicated in the resolution. That's what a responsible and responsive government and responsive health sector will do. As a country,
am I hearing a point of order?
Yes, please.
Member for Banjul South, can we hear the point of order, please? Microphone.
Mr. Speaker, point of order 18. It says any member deviating from the standing order. Mr. Speaker, we come to this assembly to tell the
point
truth
of order
and nothing but the truth. Honorable Speaker, the honorable member has not spoken the truth.
Honorable member for Banjul South, you quoted a section what I said? 18 of the standing orders. Can you help us through it?
Honorable Speaker's point of order, any member deviating from these standing orders may be immediately called to order by the Speaker or any other member. Honorable Speaker, the honorable member just stood up and told this assembly something that is not true. Honorable member, it is a lie that the honorable Speaker, the Deputy Speaker said
Banjul South.
Honorable Speaker, it is not the truth.
Banjul South.
The majority
Banjul South.
a letter
Can the honorable member Banjul South, can you withdraw that statement, please?
Honorable Speaker, if
Banjul
the truth
South,
is said,
withdraw that statement.
I will say it's a truth. If a lie is said, I will say it's a lie.
No,
Speaker,
I mean
if it was
withdraw.
not the truth.
Honorable member.
No, I will
Honorable
not. I
member.
asked to leave, but I will not withdraw my
Honorable member, you either going to withdraw it or you leave the chambers. Then leave the chamber. Then, before any further action, then leave the chambers, please. Honorable member, fine. You don't withdraw, leave the chamber, fine.
It was a blatant lie.
No, please, leave the chamber.
I will go with my dignity, but I will not lie to this country.
We want sanity in this institution. And honorable member, please don't abuse your right, please. Please. We want sanity in this institution and respect for each other. We are bound to have divergent opinions. I will say this, somebody will say differently. But we must accept it. You have a right to disagree. But when people put out their opinions, you must respect their opinions. It's a must. You must respect it. You reserve the right to disagree with the person. If I feel that what I'm saying is the right thing, and the honorable minority leader believes it's not right, and I want to believe that what minority is saying is not also right, where are we going? Let's respect each other's opinion, but still reserve the right to disagree with the person based on points or whatever. We don't want statements like that to happen in Parliament. We are being seen and looked into, representing whole Gambian people as the people's Bantaba. We should be less emotional, more focused to issues that we want to debate. And we cannot tolerate one person.
Honorable Speaker, point of observation.
Please. Who is shouting?
I say a point of observation.
Who is the person?
Fonyi Bintang Karana. Fonyi Bintang Karana.
Fonyi Bintang. You need to go and address yourself with the rules of Parliament. It's not what you find outside that can be translated and brought into Parliament. It's an organized institution for matured, principled people to service their people. Please.
Can I please observe, Honorable Speaker?
Please, Honorable Member.
Honorable Speaker. Yeah, I can observe him. The Honorable Speaker.
What? Who is talking?
He's above observation.
Is it Busumbala?
Yes.
Busumbala, you did not shout.
Did I?
Yeah, you did not shout or argue over it.
I'm not shouting and arguing over this. I just want to observe. Let us proceed. Honorable Speaker cannot make remarks on, on members.
I think you better come and sit here.
No, I will not sit here, but let's make proceed.
And then
let's proceed
at the same time. Honorable member, I said, I think you are legally minded. You were one time an officer in the service and you have done some part of law. We need not remind you about what you should do and say as opposed to what I should do and say. You should know that by now. You should know that by now. We don't expect that from people who are legal luminaries.
Honorable Speaker, I'm just...
Please. No, take your own. Just limit yourself to your seat. And leave mine alone. Please. Honorable nominated member, Honorable Njai, you can continue your deliberations.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm not sure that they have not eaten into my time. Honorable Speaker, bullet number 5, acknowledging the efforts of the government and in particular the Ministry of Health since the outbreak, notifying WHO as well as requested for an investigation into the matter. Honorable Speaker, as I said earlier on, we want to commend the Ministry of Health for this. Even when it came, they notified the World Health Organization to assist. And that is commendable. That is the truth. We know there must have been lapses or ill-equipped, but the personnel at the Ministry of Health, when they noticed it, and the Ministry of Health, as indicated in this also, went further swiftly and suspended the importer's license and also recalled an order for the suspension and recollection of all this medication only on the interest of the welfare of the people of the Republic of the Gambia. Honorable Speaker, noting the effort of this Parliament, since this happened, the Select Committee on Health, Refugee and Disaster has been at work, as enshrined in the 1997 Constitution and our standing orders. They had series of engagement with health officials and others with regards to this. It is only prudent that we commend them, we allow only them to continue the work they are doing as stated in the motion. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker, nominated member, C.D.H.K. Njai. I now invite the Honorable Member for Foni Jarol.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. And a lot has already been said. And I must also thank the Honorable Ministers who dedicated their time to be here, because it's a national concern. I must start by first and foremost thanking WHO, where I got my information, first-hand information, because it was on the 6th that WHO issued a medical product alert identified in the Gambia that has been potentially linked to acute kidney injuries, leading to the death of 70 children. Honorable Speaker, my condolences to the family of the 70 children and beyond who died taking the medication of the medical product linked to the acute kidney injury. Honorable Speaker, this is very unfortunate to happen and has caused a public outcry in the Gambia and beyond, demanding a true investigation into the incident. Honorable Speaker, the pandemic has caused chaos in our health centers, that as I speak to you now, most people are even afraid to go to the health centers because of this problem. Honorable Speaker, to restore that confidence within the health system and to build trust and confidence from the service consumers, something needs to be done immediately. It's time for action and not time for talking. It's time for action and not time for praises. We must act now to restore that confidence, because we don't know whether this problem is only limited to the mentioned medication. That's what people are thinking. People are even refusing now to go to the hospital because of this problem. We need to act as soon as possible to address the situation. That's my take. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Fonyi Jarol. I now invite the Honorable Member for Jara West.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I would want to take this opportunity to express my deepest condolence to the families and victims of this tragic incident, that is the death of 70 children. Honorable Speaker, I also want to commend the Ministry of Health and the government for notifying, to my knowledge, notifying WHO about this acute kidney injury in the Gambia. Honorable Speaker, to me, the minister needs to be commended, because we have all seen since this incident happened. In fact, before that, it's just an outcry that now we are seeing him going up and down. But he has been doing wonders for this country. So when an unfortunate incident happened, we just don't have to come up and then try to destroy all the good things that have been done by the minister. Yes, if you are with a portfolio, God forbid something dangerous or issues happen, that is disaster or calamity, you have to be mentioned. But let's also not forget, he has been doing good for this country. I don't think there is any genuine Gambian who will wish death for his or her colleague in the Gambia. So I just want to appeal to our members, let us not politicalize issues. If we want to politicalize issues, we can never achieve what we want. We are here representing the people of the Gambia. If you want to come here with a political side, I don't think we are going to achieve our dreams. If something happens, let's just take it as it is an issue of Gambia. We are all Gambians. We are all people representative. Please, honorable members, let's do it that way. Sometimes, ministers also, stakeholders, they need to be commended when they do good. It's good to criticize, yes, because it makes them double up their efforts, but not also, we only depend on the criticisms. Let's also give credit where it is due. Sometimes I don't know why we are here. We are representing the people. Honorable Speaker, for me, I have the belief the select committee will do their job. I know the people who are there, their expertise, they know what is in the health. And then before this motion was brought in, they have been doing their work. I believe they will do it. Let's have the belief, the confidence in them. They are our members. We put them in that committee. On that note, Honorable Speaker, I want to rest my case. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Jara West. I now invite the Honorable Member for Fonyi Bondali.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Speaker.
I would like to extend my deepest condolence and sympathy to the family and the victims of this tragic incident, to which I am part of. Fortunately for me, my child is still alive, but still going through the pains and struggling, which I am appealing for help. Honorable Speaker, I'll go to number 8, which reads, concerned that some quantity of alleged contaminated drugs are still unaccounted for or recalled. I would like to urge the Ministry of Health to continue on their good work or to recall the remaining of the said drugs. Honorable Speaker, I would like to rest my case.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Foni Bondali. I now invite the Honorable Member for Busumbala constituency.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, the issue at hand is very delicate issue for us to talk about it. It includes the loss of the entire generation. Honorable Speaker, 70 children been succumbed to the deaths due to Aki pandemic is a concern, and every member of the nation is mourning. On behalf of the people of Busumbala constituency and on my own behalf, we extend our deepest condolence to the family who lost their loved ones due to this Aki. Honorable Speaker, we pray to Almighty God to grant these bodies to the highest place in Jannatul Firdaus. Honorable Speaker, no parents want to bury his or her child. We all pray that we have child grown up in a better perspective, see them in their progressing stages to become wonderful and beneficiary to us. It's unfortunate that these parents are witnessing this, and the nation at large is crying, is mourning for the loss of these children. Honorable Speaker, the death of these children has been reported by the Minister of Health can be attributed to a negligence by the government and his ministry. The only crime, Honorable Minister, these children have committed is to be born in a country whose medical security is not being at its best. Honorable Speaker, it is the primary responsibility of the government to provide primary health care delivery service to every member of this country. Every resident, every citizen who is born in this country is this entitlement of the government to provide a primary health service delivery to its excellent base. Honorable Speaker, we may restrict ourselves based on the recommendation we have, or the recommendation we refer to the committee responsible to investigate this matter. But notwithstanding, we can also tell them to look at this and take a robust action, when investigating, to make sure that they look at it holistically, and factor out all the necessary steps that will give that will give justice to these people who have succumbed today, these babies. One of those is to look at how the medication find its ways into the hinterland of the Gambia. And the other one is to look at various medicines that have been tested, whether they are the primary cause of these deaths, and also looking at our environmental situation. The flood also have just hit the Gambia, whether we have experts to ascertain whether the death can also be. Can I have
I am happy that you know that the speaker is there. He is not the speaker. I give you 30 seconds to round up.
Thank you. You are the president of this assembly. I just want to rest my case here, but then it is needful to emphasize the failure of the Ministry of Health in this respect. And I want the chair of the Health Committee to take note of that and make sure that you conduct your investigation in a more professional manner. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Busumbala. I now invite Honorable Nominated Member Keba Lamfofana.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. To start with, I would skip the normal greetings and then go straight to expressing my heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families, and then equally share my sympathy for the unfortunate death of over 70 children. Honorable Speaker, the issue at hand, as alluded by earlier speakers, is very delicate, is highly sensitive, and it requires maturity. And that maturity should begin from this House. Let's establish the facts. One thing for certain is nobody, either inside this House or outside the confines of this House, outside the confinement of this House, will wish for the loss of one soul. We are all deeply concerned. And with that, I would like to associate my deliberations with the prayers as contained in the motion presented before us, to say, one, these deaths are linked to some contaminated syrup, which is explicitly expressed in the prayers of the motion, number one. And then makes it more worrying, because practically people take medicine to be healed. You don't take it to have something of what? An unfavorable nature. But equally, to recognize, as expressed in prayer number 5 of the motion before us, that is the early detection, which was done by the Ministry of Health, which we can attribute a timeline to. This was since in July, and subsequently the recall mechanisms in place and the information given to WHO, fast-tracking that toward the declaration that was given by WHO that the deaths can be linked to Aki and subsequently to a syrup. Honorable Speaker, we have a motion before us, and in supporting this motion, I really want to bring to the attention of the members some of the salient issues the Health Committee will bring, provided we allow them to do it independently and we allow them to do it solely. If you look at the TOR that this motion is expressing, from A to K, what it seeks to establish is the fact. The main reason why honorable members cannot debate today is we don't have facts. We don't have any evidence. If at all we are going to make anything today,
any deliberation today, it will be based on what? Assumptions. And this is an honorable house. An honorable Speaker, if you look at F and H, it talks about, it mandates the Health Committee to come up with the policy and legislative gaps that exist both in the legislation and also in the MCA Act. Currently, it is evident that the MCA Act is what? Conflicted. But to what extent, we do not know. So if at all we allow the Health Committee to go on with this parliamentary inquiry, we will know the extent of the legislative gap. We would know as a parliament what we need to do to address those gaps. And again, if you look at point D and point H, it is talking about holding people accountable. This is evident because this is an assault on the Gambian people. But what can we do right now? We can't do much. We need the facts so that the people who are responsible will be held responsible as to what their degree of responsibility. And lastly also, if you look at point K, it is talking about structural and administrative reform based on what? International standard. So, Honorable Speaker, having said that, I wish to express my fervent belief that it is only the Health Committee who have the constitutional mandate as per section 95 of our standing orders of the Gambian Constitution to what? Take this particular mandate. In conclusion, I would just like to appeal to this House. Let us not preempt the conclusion of our own what? Committees. Let us not preempt it. Let us join the country in expressing our deepest what? Concerns. 17 lives are lost. That is not a joke. We should approach this issue with utmost maturity. Who knows? Today is the children, tomorrow it can be the adults. So if we approach it with a laissez-faire attitude, we politicize it, at the end of the day we would not have the desired results. So I think, Honorable Speaker, we are in order, and I want to make the submission that I am in for the Health Committee.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Nominated Member Kebalang. He's asking? So they might be automatically. Honorable Member, I have not heard you. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Nominated Member Kebalang Fofana. I now invite the Honorable Member for Basse.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. First of all, I have to acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Minister for Health and other Cabinet Ministers present here. Honorable Speaker, I rise to add my blessings to the motion, which I have to applaud the minority leader for coming up with this motion, and which is very timely. Honorable Speaker, I also have to express my deep condolence and sympathy to the families and the victims of this tragic incident. Honorable Speaker, I have to thank the government, the Ministry of Health, and the members of the ministry for their swift intervention when this strategy was alarming, or else it would have been something. Looking at some of the points highlighted by the mover of the motion, I quote, number 3, noting government and health authorities engaging investigation about the causes of these unfortunate deaths and these reported allegations of the contaminated drugs. Also looking at number 6, recognizing the action of the Ministry of Health in suspending and recalling the alleged contaminated drugs in the Gambia, as well as raising alarm. I think these actions have shown the government and the ministry they are responsible in what they are doing as they are serving the Gambian people. Honorable Speaker, as one of the speakers mentioned here, that this motion was brought here or was due to the minority leader, which we said no, because they said it's the only minority leader one who's appended their signatures for this motion to be tabled here. We were consulted, and we know in the Constitution, Section 998, 1A, that even if they have 1/4 of the signatures, it can be tabled at the plenary here. So that doesn't mean they have to at least accuse or say other members did not were in for the motion. Yeah. Honorable Speaker, I have to also recommend, looking at the terms of reference with the move of the motion highlighted, 11 points added to the Health Committee. I think we have trust and confidence with the Health Committee to be handed the responsibility in going in or the investigation, at least to go deep into the investigation and find out the cause of this tragedy. Honorable Speaker, I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Basse. I now invite the Honorable Member for Sabak Sanjal.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. First, I want to join yourself and the honorable members of the National Assembly to pay my heartfelt condolence to the bereaved families. Honorable Speaker, we have a motion before us which has been tabled by the Honorable Minority Leader, which is commendable. Honorable Speaker, the issue at hand is very sensitive. For that being the case, we all understand that the Gambia is a victim of this, and every country in the world may fall victim of this situation, irrespective of your status. I respect every other's opinion in the humble assembly, but something that we should note is that some families are still crying. The loss of a child can never be replaced, and you carry him or her for the rest of your life. We shouldn't be here to gain political points, but we should feel what these families are feeling at the moment. Honorable Speaker, looking at the motion, it states, noting government and health authorities, under number 3, ongoing investigations about the causes of this unfortunate death and the reported allegations of the contaminated drugs. We are saying that we want the Committee on Health to conduct an investigation onto this matter. I am not an expert on health, and I don't want to accuse any government, I don't want to accuse any company. Although we Gambians, Gambian health workers, Gambian children, Gambian people, Gambian government has been assaulted by unscrupulous companies, by unscrupulous individuals. We shouldn't conclude
onto matters without having thorough investigation being conducted by our health committee. We have set up this committee. Let's be honest to each other here. We don't have to be impostors. We entrusted them the powers to scrutinize the activities of the Ministry of Health and any health-related matter. If we have trust on this committee, let us move this issue to the health committee and wait for their report before we accuse each other here in this assembly. We are honorable members and we should behave as honorable members. Anything we are saying under this building should be based on facts. Remember, credit should be given to those that deserve it. I will not give credit to WHO without giving it to the Ministry of Health. It is clearly stated under this motion that acknowledging the efforts of the government and in particular the Ministry of Health since the outbreak, notifying WHO. It means it is the ministry that notified WHO of this issue and not WHO notifying our humble ministry. We have to start encouraging our people. When they do the right thing, we have to put it straight and say they are doing the right thing. This is one way of motivating our civil servants. What are you telling our nurses and doctors? If we are to stand here and sabotage them, what are we telling them? Are we encouraging them or are we discouraging them? Honorable Speaker, with those simple remarks, I humbly submit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Sabak Sanjan. I now invite the Honorable Member for Nyanija.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'll be very, very brief, but just to join my colleagues and also pay condolence to the already bereaved families and all those who are admitted within the health facilities and pray for them for a speedy recovery. Honorable Speaker, it is very sad and then it's a concern to every Gambian that this is happening. It is unfortunate, though history and records have told us this is not the first time it is happening in other parts of the world, but in the case of the Gambia, this is the first time. So we have to capitalize on this and make the best use of this unfortunate circumstance and come out with something that is very positive at the end of the day. Honorable Speaker, I just want to emphasize on one thing, that is the issue of the time limit. This, if I don't talk about, my heart will melt because I'm the one who moved the motion. For God and heaven's sake, we are guided by our standing orders and we have committees responsible. If a particular committee agree on something and you come here, it's not a matter of being bipartisan or whatever. Every party has a representative at the ABC. We are represented there by our party line. So if we agree on something and we move it here, I think it's something that we should not dwell and talk about anymore. Moving on, Honorable Speaker, on the issue of convening this session, and then I request the Office of the Clerk to provide copies where all the signatories are and deposit it in our picking holes. Because as far as I know, I append my signature on this because I see it as a matter of public health importance. Coming from a party in government, I did not see this as something which you know that it is a challenge on the government or whatever. I see it as a matter of public health importance. And then also as chair of the committee, I see it as something which, you know, it's my responsibility. If such a motive is moved, I support it. And I append my signature on that circular. So you cannot call it as it is engineered by the minority side or whatever. Please, that is a misleading and wrong statement. Honorable Speaker, moving on to the Health Committee, and this I must emphasize. To whom much is given, much is expected. As chair of the Health Committee, we've already started, as other members have alluded to. And then I just want to thank the Honorable Minority Leader and all other Honorable members who are in support of this motion, and also urge all honorable members to join everyone here for us to support this motion, because as a health committee, it is a tool of the National Assembly, especially the plenary, for us to dip into this matter and come out with something positive, come out with something as evidence as we can lay our hands on and then present our case to the general public. Because I know many have been talking, what have the National Assembly done in this regard and so on. We have been doing a lot, but as far as the matter is here, I take it as an opportunity for us to widen our scope, and then this is just a matter of like enriching our already started work to come and report back to plenary. And then I assure you, we have a very committed and competent team within the health committee. You have health experts there, and you also have experts in various areas. And also, don't forget, we have right honorable members there who are serving their second term. So be assured, we will do everything judiciously and according to the standing orders and according to the Constitution. That one I can assure you. And then we count on the support of everyone. Honorable Speaker, I cannot take my seat without also expressing my thanks and appreciation to the Ministry of Health. You see, if somebody does good, just say thank you. I know it's not easy. There are gaps here and there, and that's why we are moving forward, coming up with this to investigate these things. But they have done a lot. If they could tell you, and I know the Honorable Minister will come, when they started this, definitely we will have to thank them. They have done a lot, and then they have even been criticized at one point when they started releasing press release, stop the usage of paracetamol and other syrups. So we have to thank them. And we have to
can I observe you, please?
No, just allow me to finish, please. Just allow me to finish. So we have to thank them and appreciate their efforts. Honorable Speaker, I wouldn't also do justice without
Yeah, you.
Okay, thank you very much. I just wanted to finish by saying all the details that honorable members are asking for, most of them are already in hand because, as I said, we started and we requested documents from the various ministries and departments. And equally, the details about the outbreak and then like the epidemiology of cases and so on, we have a very competent unit under the Ministry of Health, that is the Epidemiology and Disease Control Unit, that also need to be empowered. But I know they will provide all the relevant information in this regard, and at the end of the day, we will all be happy when we lay our report here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Nyanija and Chairman of the Health Committee. Honorable members, I now have the pleasure to invite the Honorable Minister of Health to make a statement and partake in the debate. Huh? Honorable members, as I said, we will now invite the Honorable Minister of Health to make a statement. He is not responding to your issues. He just to make a statement if he so desires as Health Minister. And from there we will call upon the mover of the motion to respond and then wind up the debate on the motion. Is here. I understand the Honorable Minister is in. I now have the privilege to call on the Honorable Minister to make his statement. Honorable Minister, please. distinguished Honorable Speaker and National Assembly members, thank you for inviting my team and I to this extraordinary session of the National Assembly on the death of children due to acute kidney injury. I acknowledge the presence of the honorable ministers, my colleagues, and the bereaved families who are here with us to be part of this process, and other distinguished individuals who are gathered here. We would like to extend our sincere condolences to all the families affected, all the families who have lost their loved ones, and we pray that Allah grants all the departed children Al-Jannatul Firdaus. This period has been very difficult for the families of the children, and we pray that Allah grants them the fortitude to bear the loss. It has been a very difficult period for all the people. The families, we were in the hospitals with them. We saw their struggles. We saw their pain. Each time I visited the patients at the hospital, we saw the anxiety, the fear, the pain on the faces of the families. We understand what you went through. But only Allah can comfort you, and we pray that Allah comforts all of you. But we want to tell you that we share your pain. We have been in it together from the beginning. As a colleague, as an honorable member said here, our work is to save lives with the help of the Almighty Allah, and we've been doing that to the best of our ability. When we lose lives as health workers, we quietly cry. Sometimes we hide behind and we cry as much as the families. And in this case, we all cried quietly with you each time you lost a family member. At this juncture, Honorable Speaker, we also wish to commiserate with the health workers who were taking care of these patients and did all they could do to save their lives, but ended up losing them. This year, the Gambia experienced the highest amount of rainfall in over 15 years. There had been windstorms, floods in many parts of the country. There are numerous diseases that become common during the rainy season, either because the vectors carrying such diseases or disease-causing microorganisms thrive and reproduce well in stagnant rainwater, or such water serve as conduits for the transmission of waterborne diseases. These diseases could be viral, bacterial, or parasitic. For this reason, each year during the rainy season, diseases such as cholera, salmonellosis, or other bacterial diarrheal diseases and viral diarrheal diseases, also malaria, skin diseases, etc., are all commoner during the rainy season. This year is no exception. Floods are known to worsen this problem, and that is one of the most important causes of mortalities when it comes to floods. The fact that there could be physical injury to the flood victims coupled with the high potential of disease outbreaks. That is why governments and health systems are concerned when floods arise. In July 2022, the Ministry of Health received information from the doctors at the Pediatric Department of the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, that is EFSTH, that they were seeing an increased number of children under 5 years
who were presenting with symptoms of acute kidney injury. This information was conveyed to the Epidemiology and Disease Control Unit of the Ministry of Health, whose mandate it is to conduct surveillance and control diseases of public health concern. An incident management system was set up to look into the AKI issue. Acute kidney injury, or AKI, is the sudden deterioration of the functions of the kidneys, which manifests with the symptom of oliguria, that is diminished urination, or anuria, production of no urine at all, among others. The injury to the kidneys may affect other homeostatic functions of the kidneys. This may coexist with or lead to other organ damage. Acute kidney injury can be classified as community-acquired acute kidney injury or hospital-acquired acute kidney injury. Every country has a baseline level of acute kidney injury. These figures vary from one geographical location to the other, from country to country, and from one health facility to the other within the same country. Acute kidney injury in children has numerous causes. These causes can be broadly classified into three: pre-renal, renal, and post-renal. Renal referring to kidneys. The pre-renal causes of acute kidney injury in children, especially in the tropics, include acute gastroenteritis, which is usually associated with severe vomiting and diarrhea, complicated malaria, sickle cell disease and its complications, severe dehydration of whatever cause, and sepsis, that's infection, severe infections in children. The renal causes, those are causes that are inherent in the kidney itself. Acute glomerulonephritis, the various forms. Factors causing this could be from nephrotoxic medications, from toxins, and again from severe infections. The post-renal causes, those are causes that are beyond the kidney but end up causing acute kidney injury. Factors that block this could be stones in the urinary tract, they could be tumors and congenital malformations, etc. From the outset, it was clear that the possible causes of acute kidney injury in these children were many. Most of these children had a history of diarrhea and vomiting, fever, and some of them had cough. These children were referred from all 6 health regions of the country. These were the regions where the floods had been reported. The only region where there was no referred case was the North Bank East Health Region of the country, where it was also reported that there was minimal or no flooding at all. This made the clinicians to arrive at the suspicion that they were dealing with an outbreak of acute kidney injury that might have arisen because of contamination of sources of water and food in the communities. We had seen communities where water levels were so high that they submerged the pit latrines and the wells, thereby giving rise to those who were dispatched into the communities to take water samples for analysis. It is important to note that some of these samples, when tested, yielded a type of bacterium called Escherichia coli, or E. coli for short, which is one of the commonest causes of diarrhea and vomiting in children. Severe diarrhea and vomiting by themselves can cause acute kidney injury. Some strains of E. coli can cause hemolytic uremic syndrome, which can also lead to acute kidney injury. Further analysis by sequencing of the bacterial isolates indicated the presence of Escherichia fergusoni. This bacterium also has the potential to cause hemolytic uremic syndrome, which can also cause acute kidney injury. As all this was happening, the clinicians were seeing more children with acute kidney injury.